Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. So in the last class I told you that you have to solve a few problems I'm going to give you, and we did discuss how to solve these two problems. We'll go ahead and talk about these two problems today, so that you can actually start doing your assignment. So here in the third problem, we've already discussed the first two, right? The third problem, you are being asked to calculate the tension in the rope CB, BA and AD. So you can see that there are valves on either side. And you have a rope which is connected to both the valves. And you have forces 200 Newton and 500 Newton acting downwards at a certain a location where these ropes are joined together. And these angles are also given. Now you are being asked to calculate the tension in the rope CB, BA, AD, and also you are required to find the magnitude of reaction forces at C and D. So let's see how to do that. So this here is our problem. So just the way, if you remember the previous two problems, our strategy to solve the problem will be similar. Here what do we do? Here we have used two different techniques to solve problems. However, the basic idea is going to be the same. You will find out the equilibrium equations for for a particular joint. You will list out, you will say net force should be 0, if something is in equilibrium, then external force should be 0. That means that net force in x direction should be 0, net force in y direction should be 0. So you list out all forces, positive and negative forces, say that sum is 0, and you find the unknowns. So that's the same thing we are going to do here. But here the only difference here is that you need to be careful while selecting the first set of equations you are going to write down to solve the system. So when you write down the equilibrium equations, you have two of them. For a given system, 2D system. So that gives us two equations. When you have two equations, you can solve up to two unknowns. So we have A, B, C, D. Three locations here for which we need to find out the forces, the corresponding forces. And all angles are given. If this is 45, this is also going to be 45. If this is 30, this is going to be 30. This is 30, this is going to be 60. So these are the things. This is 60, this will be 60. Sorry, that's not true, because this is not a single drop. There is a force 200 Newton downwards here, because of which the point B is going to come downwards a little bit. So that means the angles of these two forces are known and this one is unknown. That's true. So from each of these sections, each of these joints, we can come up with a equilibrium equation. Let's say what happens in location D. You have a tensile force I will call it Let's say tension in the part BC is T1, this is T2, tension in the part AD is T3. So T3 will be the force on the junction due to the tension from the rope. Now what will be the reaction from the wall? We do not know the reaction. We need to calculate that, and we do not know the magnitude of reaction, we don't know the direction of reaction. So what we will do is that we will say they are unknowns. So reaction RDY and RDX. So how do you know that RDY is upward or RDX is toward right? It's possible to guess that from here, but you don't need to guess that. You can take arbitrary direction. You can take either left or right. Once you solve the system, if you get positive value for your unknown, you will say that your the initial guess was right, and that is the correct direction. Otherwise, you will reverse the direction. Now what happens for A? Junction A, junction A has T3, the tension from the rope in this direction. By the way, T3 directional tension from the part of the rope AD here and here, you can see that they are in opposite direction. Why is that? Because a rope, you cannot push with a rope. Rope always pull away from the junction. So if for junction D, T3 is pulling the junction away, and for A also the same thing happens. T3 is trying to pull it away from the center. Similarly, you have T2 here, and all these angles are known. This is 30 degree. So here also these angles are known. If this is 45, this should also be 45, right? This is 45, which we already know. Here this is 30 and this is 45. Newton backwards. Now let's take junction B. The junction B. Okay, I'll use the line. Junction B also has three forces. T1 in this direction, theta here which is unknown, it's not given. We will need to calculate it. T2 here, this angle is this angle is given, this is 60. And this is 200 Newton. Obviously 90 here, this angle is also unknown. If this is theta, this will be 90 minus theta. Now what about junction C? Junction C, you have just like the junction B, you have two reaction components and tension from the rope. Reaction at C in y direction, we'll call it RCY and RCX. And this angle here is 90 minus theta. Now I have written free body diagrams of all junctions, equilibrium equations, the vectors acting at each junctions separately. So there are 4 points of interest here, and I have 4 systems here. Now how do I solve the problem? Where do I begin? So I have 3 systems, right? C, B, A and D. C, B, A and D. Which one of these will I solve first? Can anyone tell me? C, B, A or D? Which one will I solve first? Can you guess that here? So the idea here is that in each system we have 2 equations. Sigma fx is equal to 0 and sigma fy is equal to 0. And from each system we can solve up to 2 unknowns. So we will try to see if unknown is number of unknowns in a system is less than or equal to 2. If number of unknowns is less than or equal to 2, we will solve that system straight away. If Number of unknowns is more than 2. We cannot directly solve the problem. We need some extra equations or knowledge about unknowns. So for C, how many unknowns are there? T1, RCY, RCX, theta. Two many unknowns. How many unknowns are there? Four unknowns are here. But we have only two equations. How many unknowns are here in this junction B? Theta is unknown, T1 is unknown, T2 is unknown. So 3 unknowns. How many unknowns are here? T2 and T3. So 2 unknowns. How many unknowns are here? T3, RDY, RDX. So 3 unknowns. So it's telling me something. So now which one will we choose first? Since we have two equations, we can solve only up to 2 unknowns. So there is only one system with 2 unknowns, that is this one. So we have to start with this system. But once we solve this system, we will get the value of T2 and T3. So once you have the value of T2 and T3, T3 here becomes known, T2 here also becomes known. So once we solve the system, T2 and T3 are no more unknowns. So number of unknowns becomes will become 2 here, and here also it will become 2. So once you solve this system, you can solve this or this. And once you solve this system, T1 becomes known, theta becomes known. So 2 unknowns here are theta and T1. Once you know theta and T1, then here you don't have 4 unknowns. The number of unknowns become 2. So this also can be solved. So that's the procedure here. So now should I proceed and fully further solve it, or now you can do it yourself? So I will just write down the equations for the first system. Okay, I can't do this. Nope. For this system, what will be the equations? Net force in x direction should be 0, which means T3 cos 45 T3 cos 45 is acting towards right, so that's positive. And you also have T2 cos 30. So that coordinate is acting towards left, so that is negative. That should be equal to 0. Similarly, the net force in y direction should be 0. So T3 sin 45 upwards positive, T2 sin 30 upwards positive, 500 downwards negative, sum should be 0. From these two systems you can calculate T2 and T3. So once you have T2 and T3, then you can solve this system or this system. Now that's very straightforward. This will be very easy because R dy and R dx they are mutually perpendicular and they are acting in horizontal and vertical direction. Now here one interesting thing is that here there are three unknowns here, T1, T2 and theta is an angle, it's not a force. So there may be a little confusion there. So I will also solve this one. I will solve it and write down the equations. Net force in the x direction should be 0. Okay, I will just this is enough. T2 sin 60. So this is cos component is acting downwards and this is towards right. Minus T1 cos theta is equal to 0. Similarly, then force in y direction should be 0. T2 cos 60 is acting downwards. Downwards means negative sign. T1 sin theta is acting upward, so positive, and 200 Newton acting downwards. sum of all those should be 0. Now from the previous, by solving the previous system, we know the value of T2. So T2 is known. T2 here is known. If T2 is known, you can calculate theta and T1. How do you do that? You can follow any method, but in this particular case, it's usually when these trigonometric functions are involved, sometimes solving for theta, solving for an angle becomes difficult. So in general, it may be not this easy, but in this case, in our case, we won't have such complex systems. Here it's very easy. Once you know T2, you take all the known values towards right and divide the system. Once you divide it, you will get okay. Divide the system by the system. Take all known values towards right, and once you divide this system with this system. So T1 will get cancelled out, and you will have to divide this by this. You will have tan theta. When theta is equal to, you get value straight directly. And that value can be back substituted here and get the value of T1. So that way you get T1 and theta. When you get T1 and theta, again you can solve this system and this system. No problem. Now next problem. You have a 4 kilogram sphere which rests on a smooth parabolic surface. Determine the normal force it exerts on the surface and the mass of block B needed to hold it in the equilibrium position. So this system is in equilibrium. So the mass B is not going upward or downward. It's staying there. It's in equilibrium, not moving. It can actually move, but let's just simply assume that it doesn't move. No, it cannot move, because if it moves, velocity vector here will be changing angle, that becomes a force. So it cannot move. Now how do we solve this system? So it's given that the surface is smooth, which means there is no friction there. And we need to determine the normal force it exerts on the surface and the mass of block P. So just like as usual, our strategy will be to find out free body diagrams. What will be the free body diagram of block B? What is the mass of 4 kilogram sphere? Okay, the sphere has a mass 4 kilogram. So here, what are the different external forces acting on mass B? You have weight acting downwards and tension acting upwards. So there is not much complexity here. Tension is equal to weight. The tension in the rope will be equal to weight of the block B. Now what about this part? What are the different external forces on the sphere? First of all, weight will be acting downwards, 4G, and there will be a normal force from the surface on the sphere which we need to calculate. It's part of the question. And what else do we have? We have the tension from the rope, T. So this is not difficult at all. This angle here is 60 degree. There are only 2 unknowns. What about this angle? This angle can actually be calculated very easily. I'll tell you that. So once you have this angle, you have 2 equations and 2 unknowns. It's very easy to calculate, right? Sigma fx is equal to 0, t cos 60 minus L, let's say this is theta, n cos theta, that is acting towards left, so negative sign, will be equal to 0, t sin 60 upwards positive, n sin theta upwards positive, minus 4g downwards equal to 0. So if you know the value of theta, you can very easily calculate T and N. Once you have T, you can calculate the mass from this system, right? T is equal to mg. And N is the normal force from the surface on the sphere here, and that will be equal to the normal force from the sphere on the surface. So N is another value you need to calculate, which is being asked in the question. Now the only question here is, how do you calculate theta? That's also not difficult here, because this surface, this curve, equation of this curve is given. That is y is equal to 2.5 x square. Let's say this is the I'm sorry about the drawing. It's okay. Let's say this is the location of interest. This one, the location of interest. How do you calculate the this is the tangent to the curve at this point, and let's say this is angle theta. So once you have that angle theta, the normal so this is 90 degree theta, so this should be 90 minus theta. Now I will not use theta here because theta is I am already using there. I will use alpha, otherwise it will be confusing. So this is the angle which we need here, right? Theta. And we know that for a curve, what is this angle here? Tan alpha. Mathematically speaking, what is the significance of tan alpha there? Tan alpha is the slope, right? Slope is equal to derivative. Tan alpha is equal to slope, and that is equal to the derivative. What is y here? 2.5 x square. So derivative of 2.5 x square. At which location is given here? At x is equal to 0.4. X is equal to 0.4, y is equal to 0.4. But you don't need y there. So slope is equal to derivative, which is tan alpha. From that you can calculate alpha. From that you can calculate theta. Where the system is fully solved. I think today we will stop here.